my boot.
Which won't happen unless you take the time to explain our situation. A while ago, I invited a pirate named Guybrush Threepwood and his wife Elaine to celebrate their honeymoon here on the Sea of Thieves.
You mean a fraud named Guybrush Threepwood? Though I'd also accept liar, imposter, figurehead thief.
Guybrush accepted my invitation, but his ship never arrived. After a while, I began to fear the worst. So I began making inquiries in the Sea of the Damned.
And found me stuck there, sailing in circles in my old glass-bottomed boat. Something that looked like it anyway.
A memory of yours made real by the Sea of the Damned. In that realm, people and places from long ago can come back to haunt you, mingling with all the hopes and dreams in your heart. I fear that Guybrush has become trapped in memories of his own. Memories of a distant pirate sanctuary known as Melee Island. If he is not rescued, he will remain sealed in a dream world for all eternity, surrounded by fragments of his past. That is why I have asked Kate to recruit pirates who are both willing and able to broach the Sea of the Damned and save Guybrush.
And then everybody here will see what a pathetic dope he really is. It's a good plan. Think they can pull it off?
I believe they can. Kate learned of Guybrush's whereabouts, but was never able to reach him. You will be sailing into uncharted territory. On Melee Island, things may be very different from the Sea of Thieves you know.
Which is why you should take my logbook. But don't lose it. Once Threepwood has been rescued, I'm going to make him eat every last page.
You should keep an open mind, Kate. Out here, enemies can enter the same tavern and depart as friends.
When it comes to Guybrush Threepwood, I don't need an open mind. Only a closed fist. Well, don't just stand there. Sail through that archway and find Threepwood. The logbook I gave you has everything you need to know.
Dear Diary. Wow, what an incredible end to an amazing adventure! I outwitted the evil pirate LeChuck, caused an avalanche, kinda, and lived to tell the tale. Even better, Elaine and I finally got married, and all of our friends were there too. I don't think we've ever been happier. Now all we have to do is set a course and begin our honeymoon, sailing on the Sea of Thieves. To get there, we have to pass through the Devil's Shroud. Elaine says it's no big deal so long as we follow the map, but I don't know. I miss seeing the stars. I had the nightmare again. I wake up in our cabin. Elaine is gone. And at the end of my bed, LeChuck is there, laughing at me. It's crazy, I know. I left him buried back on Monkey Island, but why does it feel so real? I can almost hear the laughter. But when I did get back to sleep, I had a very different dream. I was back where it all began, on my quest to become a legendary pirate. Back at the start of my very first adventure.
Hey, get your sticky fingers off my money. Don't think I don't see you. Yikes! Don't sneak up on me like that. My job, that's what. I'm the official lookout of Melee Island, appointed by Governor Squinky Thriftweed himself. It's my job to keep an eye out for storms, incoming ships, and so on, and report them directly to the governor. Well, usually his guard nowadays. Your ship. No offense, but that's barely a rowboat compared to the sort of ships made famous by the legend of Monkey Island. Ha! Your ship. The Sea Monkey. Well, now, that was a ship worth talking about. A fearless crew, a gallant captain, and the largest cereal supply you've ever seen. I don't so much care for chatting with the folks in town. Most of them just sit around telling tales about the legend of Monkey Island. I'd just as soon tend them a fire and stay out of trouble. But if you're looking for excitement, you should stop by the Scum Bar if you haven't. Here's a little free advice, though, chum. Stay out of the way of the governor's guards. I know they may see you. What? A ship, you say? Ooh, this could be serious. Well, whoever it was, they're gone now. Guess I'll keep my eyes open. Yikes! Don't sneak up on me like that. I don't so much care for chatting with the folks in town. Most of them just sit around telling tales about the legend. You what? A ship, you say? Ooh, this could be serious. Well, whoever it was, they're gone now. Guess I'll keep my eyes open.
That's a cute stuffed toy modeled after the three-headed monkey of Monkey Island. Very popular with kids and animals, or so I'm told. Hey, do you mind? I'm dealing with a professional crisis here, and I don't need to be interrupted by every passing pirate. Go.
Hey, we're kinda in the middle of something right now. If you're new in town, you should stop by the Scum Bar, take in the ambiance.
Come back later.
Shh! There's this weird-looking rat running around, and we're trying to catch it. It might be our ticket to fame and fortune.
I don't think so, stranger. This ain't Wally's Duff Map shop no more, and that means it's off limits to the likes of you. Gubernatorial guards only. And since I don't see no uniform, and you also look like you're alive, I'm thinking that means you ain't exactly a guard. So sing your hook.
Keep your hands off the display cases. I just polished them. Well, all my wares are right here on display, save for the reserve stuff. Feel free to browse around, but don't touch anything. You don't suppose correctly. I deal in pieces of 8, just like everybody else here on Melee Island. And before you ask, no, I don't offer credit. Find me some silver or you'll be going home empty-handed. Nice try, but I don't think so. This is a general store, not a pawnbroker. That's the rubber chicken with a pulley in the middle. Ultimate Collector's Edition.
Are you visitor? It's been so long since I've had anyone but Captain Coco to talk to. Oh, there was a little misunderstanding after I came back from Monkey Island. I came in a little too fast and smashed up the jetty pretty bad. But it wasn't my fault! You ever try to sail a galleon crewed entirely by monkeys? They emptied out my bananas, ran off, and left me to take the blame! Sure have. But it's okay. I'm good friends with the legend of Monkey Island. I was even on his crew once. I'm sure he'll be along to let me out, just as soon as he's finished his important, governor stuff. Yep, anytime now. And it's not like I'm alone this time. Captain Coco and I keep one another company. If he didn't have me to talk to, he'd have lost his mind by now. Where? Oh, no, that's Captain Coco. He was my first mate on our journey back from Monkey Island. Say hello, Captain Coco.
Hello.
Oh, it's simple. Captain Coco and I met back when I was stranded. Our monkey crew didn't trust me back then, so he was my only friend.
And we've been inseparable ever since.
Hey! I don't know how it is where you come from, but eating your shipmates is not okay. I'd sooner go back to snacking on rats.
Ahoy there, stranger. That's the stupidest question I've ever heard. Why, this is the world-famous Melee Island, of course. Home to some of the filthiest rogues and rascals you'll ever cross paths with.
Here to undertake the 3 trials, I'll wager.
The 3 trials!
Aye, that takes me back. I want to be a mighty pirate. Where do I collect me hat?
Well, if you're here to prove your worth to us, too bad. We're no longer in charge around here.
Aye, and what would be the point? There's not a pirate wannabe alive who could hold a candle to the legend of Monkey Island.
No, please, not the speech again.
The mightiest pirate to ever weigh anchor!
Scourge of the Caribbean, terror of the Tri-Island territories, master of 1,000 insults.
A man who could hold his breath for 60 minutes.
Governor
Guybrush
Threepwood. All that toasting of the governors made me thirsty.
Time for some more grog! 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 Grog!
I've got my eye on you.
What business do you have with us now? Speak up and be quick about it.
I am Murray, the demonic talking skull. All pirates hear my name and tremble.
Ha! Pay no attention to that blowhard. He left his marauding days behind, along with his body.
At least I can remember my own name, not like some other skulls I could mention. And one day I shall return to the waves to unleash a new reign of chaos.
Sure you will. But for now, we provide what you might call the in-house entertainment. Telling jokes, hurling vile insults at pirate wannabes, and enthralling folks with tales of skullduggery and misdeeds.
I'm just here for the insults. You stink, ugly.
We're still workshopping some of our material.
I am no mere decoration. We are the esteemed Skulls of Scum, stars of the most disreputable tavern on Melee Island.
Aye, this be a place so foul, even the roaches have to hold their breath. The floorboards are rotten, the tankards are rusty.
And half the customers will run you through just for the fun of it. What's not to enjoy?
In all my centuries, I've never found a better place to hang my head. Excuse me. I've got something in my eye hole.
Oh, don't you dare start blubbering. You can be so embarrassing sometimes.
Well, maybe that holds true somewhere like the Sea of Thieves. But pirates in these parts hold themselves to a different standard. Time was, you could earn the approval of the pirate leaders here by completing their 3 trials.
But that was then, and this is now. The only way they'll respect you is if the governor himself declares you to be a worthy pirate.
Good luck with that. Threepwood's not set foot out of that mansion for almost a year. His guards keep things running smoothly.
Of course. What could happen to the legend of Monkey Island? If you ask me, he and his missus are off on some grand adventure.
And if you ask me, Threepwood's gotten himself locked in a closet somewhere. And good riddance.
Just ignore him. If anyone knows how to meet the governor, it'll be that set of salty sea dogs over yonder. If you've yet to do so, you should go and say hello. Aye, that they be. They've got their own pirate lord nowadays. And his name is Governor Guybrush.
I told you not to use his name. It gives me a toothache.
You'll have to forgive Murray. He and the governor had a falling out a while back. Something to do with a missing arm.
Missing? It was an act of theft and wanton dismemberment, and one day I shall exact my demonic vengeance. Of course, these gullible fools may think of him as a legend, but I am not deceived. I have spent years plotting my retribution. However, the customers and I have formed an eternal bond. They will never let me leave, not unless someone can provide a replacement. Back so soon? You've plenty of questions, I'll be bound.
Back again? You're persistent.
Back so soon? You've plenty of questions, I'll be bound. They say the name Scum comes from a language invented by one of the first and most influential pirates who dreamed of us all sharing a common speech. Some called him a genius, others a maniac. His knowledge and wisdom was passed down at a prestigious institute known as Scum University. Who can say, if it hadn't been for the drive and vision of those pirate pioneers, we might not be standing here today making such polite conversation. Tests by which a pirate might prove themselves worthy of the title. There were 3 to be faced, spread across Melee Island. Trouble was, once word began to spread about the legend of Monkey Island and all that he'd accomplished, the trials looked pretty feeble by comparison. That we did, but no matter how dangerous, deceitful, and despicable the trials became, not one of them held a candle to the governor's heroic deeds. Eventually, nobody could manage to complete the trials, and the whole system was abandoned. Better to seek the governor's blessing. He may not look it, but Governor Threepwood has the strength and stamina of 10 men. He's the champion of both our caber tossing and spitting contest. And when it comes to his skill with a blade, his insults have flummoxed the sword master herself. Aye, that's a trick you'll get to learn if and when the governor judges you to be a worthy pirate. A devastating witticism delivered at just the right moment can throw your opponent off balance. We pirates have our pride to consider, after all. Elaine Marley was her name, back before she became Mrs. Elaine Marley Threepwood. Few could win her heart back then, though many pirates tried. She was a fine leader, and just as fine a match for the legend of Monkey Island. Though there's one pirate who thought otherwise, and LeChuck was his name. That's putting it mildly. When Elaine invited him for dinner, LeChuck was instantly smitten and vowed to do whatever it took to marry her. Needless to say, the legend of Monkey Island wasn't about to stand for that. It ignited a bitter feud between the two of them. But that was a long time past now. Makes me all misty-eyed just to think about it.
Back again? You're persistent, I'll give you that. Decided to chance your luck with the governor's guards, eh? Well, you can't miss the place. Head up, through town, and through the archway below the clock tower to find a cliffside path that'll take you straight to the governor's doorstep. You might think so, but the fact of the matter is that the guards will turn you away unless you've got an official invitation. Now, I don't know where you'd go about acquiring such a thing, but there's one particular citizen whose specialty is finding what you need. You mean purveyors of tea, silks, that sort of thing? We don't allow them to operate here on Melee. A pirate's gotta eat, though, so we do take in shipments of goods from other islands. One of them sank at the docks just the other day, in fact. Ha! What do I look like, a merchant? All I know is the governor keeps this place running just fine. We're never wanted for supplies. If you're peckish and low on funds, you could always find a fishing rod. See if you can't catch some supper that way. Each of us underwent the 3 trials way back when and became mighty pirates, when it was still possible for mere mortals to succeed. But since you ask, I'll let you in on a little secret. The trick of being in charge is to make yourself look important. That's why we took the best table in the house for ourselves and lined ourselves up here, all official-like. Well, there's no need to be like that about it. There's plenty of other pirates who wish they'd thought of it first. Pay him no heed or he'll talk your ear off all night. Claims to hail from somewhere called Sailor's Grave, wherever that may be. Only when he starts up with a shanty. I never heard such a tuneless, talentless assault against the performing arts. He claims it's the best he can do on account of lacking a full set of vocal cords, but if you ask me, he's just doing it for the attention.
What be ye wanting? Now that's the sort of question I'd expect from a pirate wannabe. Melee Island is pretty much wall-to-wall rogues and scoundrels. Granted, more than a few folks have retired from a life on the high seas and taken up other lines of work where they can. But pretty much everyone you'll rub shoulders with has flown the Jolly Roger at one time or another, and none of us are ashamed to admit it. Why should it? Governor Threepwood is in charge now, and there's no pirate more lawless, lethal, and larcenous than he. The days of being clapped in irons by the local sheriff are long gone, and it's all thanks to the legend of Monkey Island. What's the matter? You got seawater in your ears? Let me spell it out for you. Governor Threepwood is our legend of Monkey Island. He's been everywhere, seen it all, and stolen most of it. Adventures the rest of us can only dream of. The only way you'd be considered a true pirate is if the governor himself declared you to be worthy of following in his footsteps. Oh, you think so? You can't just stroll up to the governor's door and challenge him to a spitting contest, you know. But there is one way. A man in town can be your ticket to an audience with the governor, but his help surely won't come cheap. They say it lies east of here, but its exact location is a great mystery to all but a chosen few, including the governor and his wife, Elaine Marley. The whole of Monkey Island is surrounded by a strange mist that makes sailing there a treacherous prospect, unless you know exactly what you're doing. Oh, really? Well, most folks tended to avoid the place once the ghost pirate LeChuck began to use Monkey Island as his pirate lair. Only the governor was brave enough to bring together a crew and make it all the way to Monkey Island to rescue his beloved bride. It's just one more reason he's held in such high regard. But I don't suppose even he knows every secret the island has to offer. I assume you mean pieces of 8? That's the currency we trade in here on Melee Island, not gold or other such nonsense. The cook could have been persuaded to take you on, but he's already hired himself a new assistant, so you're out of luck there. Well, I'm sure if you keep your eyes peeled, you'll spot a few stray pieces of 8 lying around that nobody'll miss. Of course, a real pirate would notice more nefarious opportunities to fill their pockets.
Come to share a table with me? How about sharing some grog, eh?
Ahoy there, stranger. New in town? That's the stupidest question I've ever heard. Why, this is the world-famous Melee Island, of course. Home to some of the filthiest rogues and rascals you'll ever cross paths with. Though if I were you, I'd not stray too far beyond the village. The weather's taken an awful turn tonight. A stranger could get lost in that pea soup. Oh, plenty of places to spend your pieces of 8. Though I'd wager most'll be closed at this hour. Except maybe the general store. That old skinflint never sleeps. Then there's the old jail, the church. But if you ask me, there's nowhere better than this very pub. Why not sit for a spell and soak it all in? Well, I am a pirate, but alas, I am not a captain. Truth be told, I haven't been out on the waves for many a month. It all began when that LeChuck business forced us back to shore. Once he was the terror of the Caribbean, roaming the seas on his fearsome ghost ship until he was scuppered by the legend of Monkey Island. Oh, not what. Who? I'm talking about the most fearless felon to ever don a captain's hat and sail straight into the waiting maw of death itself. Guybrush Threepwood. Once we heard what had happened to LeChuck, most of us pirates chose to retire. There's no point trying to compete with the legend of Monkey Island. Our governor is none other than the legend of Monkey Island himself. He keeps this whole area prosperous for his fellow pirates. His mansion is on the other side of town, but pirates aren't as welcome around there as they used to be. Because the governor's a busy man, that's why. Caught up writing his memoirs. It's the most pre-ordered book ever published on Melee Island. Come to think of it, it's also the first book ever published on Melee Island. But that just makes it even more exciting. I'm buying 9 copies. You should talk to the important-looking pirates in the next room. If you're to stand any chance of seeing the governor, they can tell you where to go and what to do. My name is Mancom Seepgood. The what of who? Never heard of it. Now I've sailed as far as Dinky Island, but Melee Island is a place to be nowadays, thanks to the governor. Now that you're here, you should relax and take a load off. Uh-oh, looks like my grog is going flat, so you'll have to excuse me. Maybe not on this sea of thieves you're so proud of, but in these parts, we prefer a beverage with a little extra kick to it. Kerosene, red dye number 2. If you're brave enough to try some for yourself, we usually sneak ours out of the big barrel in the kitchen. You can join us in a toast to the legend of Monkey Island.
Where's that blasted cook? Me crew and I are parched drier in Boulder Beach.
Hey, that's my cargo. I thought it'd be fish food by now. Looks like I'm back in business. This meet and greet ticket will get you an audience with the legend of Monkey Island. Only one in existence, but I'd say you've earned it.
And where do you think you're going? Oh, yeah? Let me see that. Seems genuine. Funny, I thought we'd gotten rid... Well, only one thing for it. There. I booked you in for the next available session. Come back and speak to my colleague after the clock strikes midnight. Like that'll happen anytime soon. That clock tower hasn't worked in years.
Hey, you! Yeah, you! Want to see something hilarious? There's a pack of piranha poodles in this alley that can't stand the sound of this thing. Watch! Oh, what's the matter? Can't you reach your lovely pony din-dins? All right, that's enough, you mangy mutts. Go lay down. I said that's enough. We guard the governor now, not you pathetic pooches. So get used to it. Now move along and don't start any trouble. I'm on break. Hey, get your own snacks, you thieving pirate
It's an alleyway.
wannabe.
Not too glamorous, but
Burn
I
a
guess
hole
they
in
have their
your
uses.
tongue.
This one seems oddly mysterious. It's an alleyway. Not too glamorous, but I guess they have their uses. This one seems oddly mysterious.
Ahoy there, fancy pants.
Let me guess. Another pirate wannabe looking for easy answers. Well, let me tell you something. We love pirate wannabes looking for easy answers. I highly doubt it. The governor hired a man to wind the mechanism, but most days he falls asleep in the scum bar and forgets. He's going to lose the clock tower key one of these days, and then, well, I suppose not much will actually change around here. It's always grog o'clock. Ah, night owl, eh? Well, the general store's a little ways down the high street, but the storekeeper charges a pretty penny for his wares. Well then, here's a little tip from me to you. Pirates can't help but squirrel away their spare change. It's sort of what you might call one of those compulsive reflexes. You should check all the crates and barrels you find. You never know when you'll stumble upon someone else's pieces of eight. Of course we are! Salty old pirates through and through. But on Melee Island, that's to be expected. Most folks don't bat an eyelid at day-to-day skullduggery and the occasional keel hauling. Now, the really rotten apples, they get taken to the town jail. That old place has seen better days, though. I'm amazed the walls haven't collapsed. They say the governor hired someone to fix up the place. Last time I saw him, he was having an argument with the guards. Some kind of pay dispute. They didn't want to. Eventually, they dragged him away and there was a ruckus. Lots of screaming and falling and such like. The poor sap never even got to pack away his tools.
Oh, those poor doggies. I can't help it. There's just something about these guys that cracks me up. Well, it's very sad, actually. The governor's guard dogs get tormented by the guards, you see. They've lost all the fire in their little bellies. I bet if they scarfed down a hearty meal, they'd soon be back to their nasty old selves. Of course we do. My favorite is the old top-up trick. What you do, see, you wait for your shipmate to get distracted. Then you pour some grog from your tankard into theirs without them catching you. They'll be snoring before you know it. That's when you sneak away and leave them to foot the bill. Of course we do. What you do...
You lost? Well, then you come to the right pirates. We know pretty much everything that happens here on Melee Island. At this time of night, well, probably the only place with an open kitchen would be the Scum Bar. But good luck getting inside. The chef's a real stickler for the rules. If you're not the new assistant cook he's hired, you aren't getting anywhere near the cooking pot. Well, you could try begging a gunpowder gummy off of one of the governor's guards, but it might be the last thing you ever chew. Up by the island lookout, no question. There's a pathway that leads to him just outside of the village. If the weather weren't so strange lately, you'd be able to see all the way across the island. Not much reason to head up there, though, unless you're planning to swindle a few pieces of 8 out of the lookout. Up by the island lookout, no question. There's a pathway that leads to him just outside of the village. If the weather weren't so strange lately, you'd be able to see all the way across the island. Yeah, then you're in luck. A ship full of valuables went down in the harbor here not so long ago. Of course, even if you could find a way to raise its cargo up out of the water, you'd need the proper tools to crack it open. Some parts of the town are still being renovated. Who knows? Maybe you can swipe what you need.
Ahoy there, fancy pants. Now that's a special order. Some kind of cook uniform for the Scum Bar. Probably just a big apron and a silly hat, I expect, but I want rid of it. Are you buying?
Oh, so you finally decided to show up, huh? Well, you can make yourself useful and start on the meat stew. The recipe's on the table. I'm going on my break. Don't let the customers touch anything, especially not the grog.
not to start trouble. Get back in your cage. Dummies for the lot of you. Root beer! Get back, you filthy flea bags! Stay away from me! Somebody save me before I go!
Hey, you leave that skull alone. He's got a job to do. Hey, you leave that skull alone. He's got a job to do.
Come to share a table with me? How about sharing some grog, eh?
And where do you think you're going? Oh, yeah? Let me see that. Seems genuine. Funny, I thought we'd gotten rid... Well, only one thing for it. There. I booked you in for the next available session.